The A-Class DJ. It's Supta and your favorite A-lister, Tshepi.
But let's get straight into what we call the startup. It's every single Tuesday, and we've got our resident business advisor, Teboho Nthoana. He's going to be sharing his 5 useful tips that young entrepreneurs should be using at least to grow their small businesses. And this comes especially from his time in entrepreneurship and how he has seen his businesses grow throughout the years. Teboho, good morning.
Good morning, Tshepi. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
No, good thing.
Teboho, you've been in business for a very long time. You've got, experience in many different areas in business. And today, you are the best person to give us those useful tips on how young entrepreneurs like myself, like Tshepi, and like the A-listers that are out there that are pushing their businesses on how to grow their business. So I think let's just start with tip number 1. Because I know when we start at number 1, it must be the basic of the basic.
Yeah. So let me take this opportunity to say good morning to all the welcome listeners. You're right. It has been quite a journey for me. And I'll try to give you tips with some of the things that I wish I had learned earlier, you know. And I think they would have shaped the way I perceive business and the way I definitely do business. The tip number 1 will be you cannot be everything to everyone. You know,
you cannot be what? Sorry, repeat that for me again.
You cannot be everything
to everyone. Okay.
Yeah. Because what I've realized is that as small business, we want to sell everything to everyone. You know, you might have been fortunate enough to discover what you're selling, but then you think you can sell that to everyone. And when person asks to say, who is your customer? Or he said, no, everyone is my customer. And you realize that that's one of the biggest mistakes that we do. Not everyone is your customer. So the sooner you define what you're actually selling, you know, I think for me it's the most important thing. Because right now, half of the time when we start, we do everything and anything. One day you are a supplier, another day you are a painter, another day you are a service provider. You know, you all of these different things, you know, because you're still trying to find a niche. So, and right now, there's no particular thing that people could associate you with. Or there's no particular thing that if somebody has got a problem, knows that if I come to Teboho, I come to Supta, I'm definitely going to get a solution. You know, as I'm saying, you cannot be everything to everyone. So for me, I think that is one of the key things that I'd like for small business to know. The sooner you know what you're selling, discover your niche. Obviously, it's that thing. Once you've discovered the niche, then you know exactly who you need to sell it to.
You want to
to sell it to them.
You want to be a jack of all trades and master of none.
Absolutely.
But tell me something. Do you think it's a bad thing if I have a group, right? And under this group, I've got multiple things that I'm doing. Example, maybe on the one I'm tendering and I'm a general tender. So anything that the government needs, I'll do it. And then there's one where I'm specializing and then there's one that I ran into. Is that a bad thing if I have a group and under this group I do multiple things?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely not. It's not a bad thing. But now, you find somebody you meet somebody at a business event or whatsoever, they give you their business card. And in that business card, it says Group CEO. You know, Group CEO of what? When you've not even mastered one thing. You know, half of the time you look at these businesses that are in a group and whatsoever, these businesses were probably built by one business that they specialize in. And out of that business was now in the liberty to diversify. You know, so because right now the problem with us is that we want to do a group where else you don't have, you know, actually a prime of your business, something that, you know, people could associate your business with before it even gets to become a group. So for me, I would say focus on one thing, specialize in, you know, then from the go into that. With me, the one thing that, I started to do was IT. You know, people could associate me with IT and the likes. And it's now obviously as we were growing, now there was the digital industry that was being introduced. There were other things that were being introduced. And in the midst of that, people mistaken us for a marketing company, you know, or designing of brands. And we started tapping into that, you know. But we mainly operated based on an opportunity that arose. That's how we diversified. So master one thing, then diversify. Because now the minute you start selling everything to me, what are you going to sell? Are you going to get to me and you sell everything? I'm not going to buy one thing. You know, so you get to somebody else, then you sell everything they don't want to buy. That's why in this day and age now, since I know better, I prefer to work with service providers or people that specialize. you know. And let me tell you, they might not even be the cheapest, but I know that they're going to give me what I need, you know. And if they're going to give me what, you know, what I definitely want, you know, with no exception. And those are the people that sometimes you find they might be the most expensive than everyone, but I know I'm sure of the quality that they're going to give me. I think for me, that's the key thing that you need to realize. That's why you find sometimes you find a small business says, no, I'm a contractor today, they're a painter, tomorrow they're a builder, and whatever. I say, what is your specialty? And when you look at the product at the end of the day, you realize they were just a middle person, you know, bringing everyone else to actually do something. There's nothing wrong with that. Then don't call yourself a business person, call yourself a merchant, because that's what you are.
A merchant. All right. Teboho, tip number 2.
Okay. Tip number 2, cash is king.
Cash is
That
king.
Cash is king. That is my second tip. What I've realized that as small business, we're very quick to bring in money and very quick to spend money, you know. So right now I've realized that there's nothing wrong with having 10, 20 million in your account and do nothing with it. Let's bring it from a small scale point of view. There's nothing wrong in a small business to have 100,000 or to have 200,000 and not know what to do with it, or just sit there sitting, you know. But half of the time I realize that, you know, we're very quick to want to make money. The quicker that money came in, is the quicker the money comes out. And when your next job or your next opportunity comes in, you don't have money to execute. That's why we find us running all over the show. Wanting to take up loans or wanting to, you know what, to say to run and this and that. But when you realize to say last week you were rendering a service, you got paid for it. Instead of keeping that money into the business, what did you do? You went shopping, you bought yourself a car, you did this and this and this and this, you know. So and that you realize that we actually have go through that because we do not understand the importance of cash, you know, and that's why we do not separate ourselves from the cash. The money that it brings in, the money that the business brings in, it's not your money; it's the business money. Your money is the money that you pay yourself a salary with. You know, it's something else if at the end of the year, or you decide to pay yourself a bonus, or you pay yourself dividends. You know, but the minute you understand your cash, you know, the more important and the more you're able to make and create more of it, and most importantly, sustain it. Because with us, it's mainly sustenance. We do make the money, but we don't keep the money. You know, when somebody asks me, "Do you have money?" I don't. You know, because the money that I have is business money. You know, so as well, when I take up that, I create that loan account that the loan, the business gets it, or I get a loan from the business, and it's that loan that I need to pay back. So understanding cash for me, I think, is one of the most key things.
Number three.
Okay. Number 3, you know, yeah, I think this one it's a very important one for me. It's the skill set, you know. Okay. So this is one. It's build a high impact skill. You know, let me highlight that high impact skill. So remember, I said to you, the first thing that we do when we start a business, we're selling everything to everyone, you know, and you don't have that high impact skill. You know, when you start, let me make an example. You start using any accountant that you get, you start using any lawyer that you get, you start doing this and that. But it's interesting, the minute now you start growing your business, or you start even growing your portfolio, I mean, now you could be working at YFM, you're buying properties, you're doing this and that. You start realizing that now, you know, you start wanting to deal with people that specialize, like I said. You know, it's not any accountant that can service you. It's not any lawyer that can service you. It's not any whatever. It's people with high impact skill. And you realize with a high impact skill, you might not you might fail in that particular business or as an entrepreneur, you know. But guess what? You can still service the entire corporate with that impact skill, you know, because that's a skill that people are paying you for, you know. So right now, you need to understand to say, now you being at YFM, yes, you are a broadcaster and this and that. Anybody else can sit behind the mic and be given opportunity to broadcast. We've seen previously with now celebrities being taken to just be, you know, and that's when you realize. But,
what a time! What a time for radio.
Yes, but now building that high impact skill, It's that even if they could take a celebrity, even if they could take you, there'd be a difference in your delivery. There'd be a difference in your whatever, And your high impact skill, you're able to speak to the potential advertiser. You're able to speak to the consumer. You're able to speak. It means people come to you knowing exactly what you're going to serve them or what are you going to service them. Do you understand? So it means if ever a person has got a problem, they come to you knowing exactly, how you're going to solve that problem for them, So for me, it's that importance of building that high impact skill, because it's that one thing that pays you even when your business goes down. And it's something that would pay you for a long time to come.
So Teboho, essentially, tip 3 speaks to tip 1.
Yes.
There's a connection between don't be everything to everyone, but also have that high impact skill. Let's get into the last 2 skills because we're running out of time, Teboho. Let's just quickly just go through the last 2.
Okay, the first skill for me is build a network around you. So building a network around you is important. To say right now, in you rendering a business, it's important to say, let's say for accounting services or for this or for anything else, who do you have around your network, and it's in that network that you've built around you that you don't want to pay for everything. So because right now, once you've got a network, if ever tomorrow you've got an opportunity that is big or that is this and that, you know that if ever I pick up my call and call Tshepi, she's going to come to the rescue. You know that you've got, if you need whatever service, because you might find that in your service rendering, there's a part or there's a section you need to outsource. But it's in that network that you're able to outsource to that particular business that you're able to service that business, So it's really that thing that I've realized that it's important to build your network. Hence, they say your network is your network, And sometimes you might be even getting an opportunity, but you need capital to actually render that particular service. But obviously, with that particular network, you're able to call, that Supta, if you're going to call certain Supta, I need $1 million, he'll be able to pull something out for you, Then obviously you realize that as you grow to say, you never do this alone. So that's why it's important to build that network around you that you can definitely be able to benefit from. So, and in terms of then my last tip, it's important to build your business model. So right now, whenever you want to grow your business or you want to sell your business, people buy your business model. Right now, remember when we spoke about this, we spoke about a couple of retail stores to say there's a retail store that would be selling, a 10-minute cooking oxtail.
Sure.
What are they selling? They're selling a lifestyle. They're selling convenience. They are appealing to ladies like Tshepi, that are working and this and that. They get home late and they can only have so much time to prepare a meal. They don't have 2 hours to sit on the pot. Do you understand? And you look at this particular fast food, they're selling convenience. The only way you can be sitting there is for you at the drive-through. It's about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So it's because those businesses have invested into their business model. So right now, what are you selling? So it might not necessarily be, the product might not be your end product, or the service might not be the end service. But it needs to be a kit. And if you cannot tell me what you're selling, then from there you don't know why you're in business. So for me, what am I selling? In regards, with me, for me, I sell speed and I sell quality. That's what I've built my business around, speed and quality. People know that if ever they did, somebody that would come to their rescue, somebody that would do it quick and do it, everything. I might not be the cheapest, but they know that it would come out of the quality that I'm selling.
You're the man.
Forget everything else. Yeah.
You're the man.
Yeah, that's important.
All right.
Awesome.
Teboho, thank you so much, my brother. Those 5 tips are definitely going to be useful. I can imagine for anyone who wants to grow their small business. Don't be everything to everyone. Cash is king. High impact skill. What was number 4?
Build a network around you.
Build a network around you. And the last one?
Your business model.
Your business model. And that's one of the things that we spoke about earlier on the startup, which was very, very important. Teboho, thank you so much, my brother. Where can people find you on the networks?
I'm on all social media platforms. It's at Teboho Nthoana, and my website is teboho.co.za.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's a vibe. It's a party. And it's a shindig. Only on Y.